Good day, yogis, and welcome onto the mat with me. Today's yoga session is going to be all about yoga for mobility. So I welcome you now to grab your mats, to grab a couple of blocks or books, a strap if you have one handy, a blanket which you can roll up and use to prop up onto the hips, and then just meet me on the mat as we move through this very gentle sequence which is suitable for all levels of practitioners. So, allowing yourself to come into easy seat or sukhasana, bringing the hands together before the heart center. Begin to rub the palms, generating some warmth between the hands, and then rest the hands into heart center, connecting here. Taking a deep inhale through the nose, exhale through the nose. A couple more deep breaths here. Exhale through the nose. Allowing yourself to connect inward now. Thumbs pressing in against the heart center. Breathing deeply in and out through the nose. Gently lower the hands down to the knees. Allow yourself a couple of moments in breath awareness. Just becoming consciously aware of every inhalation and every exhalation. Beginning to notice sounds around you, and then drawing your awareness and focus once more back to the breath. Deeply inhaling and exhaling through the nose. Drawing your focus and awareness into sounds within the room you are in. Gently coming back into the body, noticing sensations, noticing any thoughts that you brought with you into the room, allowing those just to drift into the background. Gently begin to flutter the eyes open now, coming back into the room. So for today's sequence, we'll be doing what is called the Pawanmuktasana series. And this particular sequence is really great for anybody that has any form of mobility issue. So if you've come from injury, if you have any, if you've had any past surgeries or broken bones or any form of injury or mobility issues, even arthritis, anything where the mobility of the body is affected, this series of movements is very, very beneficial to anyone dealing with those issues. It is also great for any practitioner that's had a really tough practice the day before and feeling like just being mellow and mild. Not only is it great for being mellow and mild, it also gets in to every single one of the joints in the body, allowing the body to keep mobile. So by activating and mobilizing every single one of the joints, we ensure that all of the joints stay active. So you can come down on the mat. So this is a gentle practice, again, suitable for all levels of practitioners. And as always in yoga, if anything hurts, we just back off and we adjust. So coming into a seated posture, legs are extended out in front of you. You can either keep your hands on the lap or have them out behind you, so they're sort of propping you up. We begin with the toes. So we just begin to crunch the toes and extend them up to the ceiling. And we begin to connect the breath now to the movement. So inhaling as we crunch and exhaling as we extend them towards the face. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Crunch toes and extend them, and just really feel what's going on in the toe joints as you crunch them down and then extend them forward. So really exaggerated movements here. Again, if anything doesn't feel right, just take your time and just come out and move and be gentle, listening to the body. Our next movement is pointing the toes down towards the ground, and then as you exhale, flexing the toes all the way back up to ceiling. Inhale down, exhale up. Inhale down, exhale up. Inhale down, exhale up. Inhale down, exhale up. Let's take two more. The last one, inhale down, exhale up. We move into ankle rotation. So rotating the feet, drawing a giant circle with the toes, moving in one direction. So trying to keep the heels relatively firmly rooted into the ground, and then gently reversing and going in the other direction. And then once more, really tapping into the wisdom of the body today. So using the breath with the movement and just seeing what every one of these movements present to you. Coming into the last circle, we now move into ankle crank, raising up the right foot, the ankle leaning over the left thigh, grabbing hold of the foot as you once more begin to rotate the foot around in a circle and just seeing what this presents to you. What is going on in the ankle? And then reverse and go in the opposite direction. Coming back to neutral, send that right leg down, left leg comes over the right thigh and begin to crank the left foot, So going around in a few circles here, and then gently reversing and going in the opposite direction. And then coming back into neutral, lowering the legs down. So sitting back into your seated posture. If this is inaccessible, you're also welcome to roll up a blanket, propping it underneath the thighs. So bringing hands onto the knees now, we're going to begin to contract through the knees. So you pull up the kneecaps, the heels will be raised off the ground. You hold all the muscles through the leg, and as you exhale, release everything back down to the mat. Inhale, contract through the knees. Exhale, lower down. Let's take another 8 more. Inhale. Exhale, lower down. Inhale. Exhale, creating tension through the kneecaps as you inhale. Exhale, drop everything down. Inhale. Exhale. Number 4. Inhale. Exhale. 3. Inhale. So really squeeze everything tight. Exhale, lower down. Inhale. Exhale, lower. So let's move on to the next stretch. Take the right foot in towards the left thigh. Interlace the fingers underneath the thigh. Inhale, stretch the leg forward. Exhale, draw it back in towards the body. Sit up nice and tall. Inhale, forward. So we're working about 10 centimeters off the floor here. Exhale, reverse. Inhale, forward, point the toe. Exhale, reverse. We're working on mobilizing the knee joint here. Inhale, forward. Exhale, and we're working into the hip here. So inhale, forward. Exhale, reverse. Inhale, forward. Exhale, reverse. Let's do 2 more. And then gently return. Raise up the foot. And we're going to begin to draw a giant circle now with the toes. So as though you've got a pencil on the toes, drawing a giant circle, rotating in one direction. So be very, very mindful of the movement here. And then reversing and rotating in the opposite direction. So big giant circles, coming back to neutral. Gently drop the foot and send the legs back towards one another, giving them a shake. Let's go into the other side. So interlace fingers behind the thigh, grow nice and tall. Inhale, extend the foot forward 10 centimeters off the floor. Exhale, draw the foot back. Inhale, forward, really point through the toes. Exhale, back. Inhale, forward. Exhale, back. Inhale. Last one, inhaling forward and exhale, draw back and then gently raise up the foot and begin to draw your giant circles going in one direction. Once more, tapping in to what's going on in the body. And then reverse and go in the opposite direction. And then gently send legs back towards one another. Move the knees side to side. We're going to take the right foot in towards the left knee, growing nice and tall through the body. We're gently going to allow the chest to drop down towards the floor as you walk the hands forward here. So this is a great time if you have a strap to grab hold of it, and you can hold onto the strap here as you walk the hands down towards the feet. So it may not be accessible for you to go as far as I'm going here, but just go to where you can, making sure you're drawing chest to shin here. And then we're going to hold here for 6 breaths. And then gently roll out, walking the hands back to center. Send the legs forward, give them a shake. Let's go to the other side. Left sole of the foot in towards the right thigh. Lengthening up, lengthening the torso. And as you exhale, beginning to fold forward. And then once more, remembering we're bringing chest down towards the shin. Taking a few deep breaths here, 6 breaths. Two more breaths, deeply inhaling and exhaling through the nose. Last deep inhale, and as you exhale, gently roll yourself back out. Send legs back together, give them a shake, moving them from side to side. Then join the soles of the feet. We're coming into cobbler's pose, interlace the fingers over the toes, make sure you're sitting equally on the sit bones, and then gently begin to butterfly wing the knees open. Gentle, gentle. Couple more deep breaths here. So this sequence can be used as a warm-up for a more intense practice as well, just to work through all of the joints and parts of the body, warming up in preparation for a more vigorous practice. And when you're done, a couple more, flapping these butterfly wings, and then gently unclasp the hands, draw the knees together, and allow yourself to come back into easy seat. We're moving now into the hands, so extending the hands forward, we begin to clench the fingers and extend them. I like to really send some energy away and through the body here by flicking the fingers and then slowing it right down, extending the fingers out, drawing them back in towards the body, extending them out, drawing them back in, extending them out, drawing them back in. Another few here. And then gently raising up the fingertips to face the ceiling. Heel of the hand extending forward. Arms are firm here. Take a breath. And as you exhale, tip the fingers down to the ground. Inhale, raise up. Exhale, drop down. Inhale, raise up. Exhale, drop down. Inhale, raise up. Exhale to drop down. Two more. And exhale, roll down. Creating fists now. Let's begin to rotate the wrists. So big, giant circles. We're working through any stiffness in the wrist joint, keeping mobility here. When you're ready, you can gently reverse that circle, going in the opposite direction. And then rolling those wrists in towards one another. See if you can roll them equally. Train the brain a little. And then reverse and roll them outwards. Coming back into neutral. Extending the hands forward, raising the palms. Inhale to touch the shoulders with the fingers. Exhale, extend the arms forward. Sweep them out beside you. Inhale, touch shoulders. Exhale, extend. Inhale, touch shoulders. Exhale, extend. Inhale, touch shoulders. Exhale, extend. Inhale and exhale. Inhale. Exhale, last one. Bring the fingers back to touch the shoulders, join the elbows. Let's start with some shoulder rotations, giant circles going in one direction. See if you're able to touch the elbows together with each rotation. And then when you're ready, reverse and take it into the opposite direction. Last movement. Coming back to neutral. And then dropping the hands down, placing them onto the knees. We're going to begin now with some neck stretches. So take a deep breath. Raise the head up towards ceiling. As you exhale, drop the chin down to the chest. Inhale, raise the head up. Exhale, chin to chest. Inhale, raise up. Exhale, chin to chest. Two more. Inhale, raise up. Exhale, chin to chest. Inhale, raise the neck up. Exhale, chin to chest. Coming back up. Inhale to gaze over the right shoulder. Exhale, forward. Inhale, gaze over left shoulder. Exhale, forward. Inhale, gaze over the shoulder. Exhale, forward, inhale. Exhale, one more on each side. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale, gaze forward. Inhale to drop right shoulder to right ear. Inhale, head up. Exhale, left ear to left shoulder. Head up. Inhale, right ear, right shoulder. Exhale, raise the head up. Inhale, left ear, left shoulder. Exhale, raise up. One more on each side. Last one. Dropping the chin to the chest. Let's inhale, keeping the chin pin rolling halfway through to one side. Exhale, rolling halfway through to the other. So inhale, going one way. Exhale, going the other. Keeping the chin pinned, slow and mindful movements here. Let's take 2 giant circles going in one direction. So head now rolling all the way around, slow and mindful. And then reversing and rolling the head in the opposite direction. Coming back to neutral. Chin stays pinned. Gently inhale to raise the head up. So taking a few Sufi swirls now through the torso. Keep the hands pinned onto the knees as you gently begin to roll around. Spine is staying straight. We're rooting down into the ground through the base of the spine and moving in one fluid and solid motion. And then once you've done a few, you can reverse and go in the opposite direction. Coming back into neutral. Inhale to sweep the arms out beside you. And exhale, eagle arms, right arm over left. Join the palms or backs of hands, raise up the elbows, drop the forehead. A couple of breaths here. One more deep inhale. And as you exhale, extend the arms out beside you, take a breath. And then left arm over right, join the palms or backs of hands, raise up the elbows, drop the forehead. Couple of deep breaths here. And then gently come out. Let's send the feet wide. We're going to continue here with stretching and creating a little bit more motion within the hips. So if you're not sitting on sit bones here, you once more can grab hold of your blanket and prop it underneath the hips. If your hamstrings are really tight, you can have the legs bent here. That's totally fine too. Interlace the fingers together, and we're going to begin to stir as though we're doing stirring through a giant pot. Moving the arms around. Extending the body forward. And then reversing and going in the opposite direction. Last giant circle before we come back into neutral. Let's gently bring the soles of the feet onto the ground to touch. Bring the hands out beside you. Take a couple of gentle movements from side to side, just stretching into the hips, windshield wipers, couple more. And then we're gently going to roll onto the mat, into tabletop to take the last few deep stretches here. So, wrists are stacked underneath the shoulders, knees are stacked underneath the hips. Let's begin with a couple of cat-cow. So, dropping the belly, inhale to gaze forward. Exhale, gaze to navel, draw spine up. Inhale, drop belly, gaze forward. Exhale, gaze to navel. Inhale, drop belly, gaze forward. Exhale, roll back, gaze to navel. Inhale, last one. Exhale. Coming back to neutral. Let's gently take the knees wide, toes to touch. Press back into child's pose. Drop the forehead. Allow yourself to settle into this deep stretch. Couple of breaths here. Drop down, melting forward into the ground. Inhale, take the right arm, thread it underneath the left arm. Draw up the cheek, gaze under the armpit. Couple of breaths here. Really see if you can get that right shoulder down onto the ground, sinking and melting deeper into your mat. And as you exhale, extend the arms forward. Take a moment here. And then left arm threads through. Drop that left shoulder down. Gaze underneath the right armpit. Few deep breaths here. Last couple of deep breaths. And then gently press palms into the mat. Raise yourself forward. And we're going to drop down onto the belly here. So extend the legs down, coming straight into Sphinx pose. So elbows are stacked underneath shoulders. Hands are extended forward. Just taking a few breaths here. Deeply inhaling and exhaling. Deep breaths. Last couple of deep breaths before we gently tuck the toes. Flip the arms out onto the edges of the mat, drop the forehead down. Just take a moment here. You bring the hands underneath the shoulders. As you gently press up, we're rolling over onto the back to work now into a few abdominal stretches as part of this series. So coming down on your mat, stretching the arms up overhead, allowing yourself a deep stretch through the body, fingers and toes being pulled away from one another. As you exhale, hug the knees into the chest for a moment, so really hug them right down, raise the whole of the buttocks off the ground for a moment, take a gentle rock from side to side, just gauging what's going on through the lower back. And as you exhale, send the feet back down, plant them down onto the ground, and then the palms come beside the buttocks. As we begin with our leg raises, inhaling to raise the right leg up, exhale to drop it down. We're taking 10. Inhale up, exhale down, inhale up, exhale down, inhale up, down, inhale up, 5 more, exhale down, inhale up, exhale down, inhale up, exhale down, 2 more, inhale up, Exhale down, engage the core. Inhale up. Exhale down. Let's swap over to left leg. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. 5 to go. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. Let's do 2 more. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. Take a little moment here. Just take a little rest. Bring the hands out beside you. Hold Shavasana or hold corpse pose for a moment. Raising up the right leg, let's take a few giant circles. So rotating that right leg, hands are still planted, rotating it in one direction and then reversing and taking it into the opposite direction. Big giant circles. And then gently replacing right leg, raising up left leg, beginning the same sequence of giant circles here. Rotating into one direction first, and then gently reversing and going into the opposite direction. One more. Lower the left leg down. We raise both of the legs up now, and we're going to begin with some big bicycle movements. So cycling the legs, so big giant circles, extending the legs up and then all the way down, keeping this movement fluid, allowing the feet to just drop down so they're just off the ground. Continuing here with your big bicycle circles. Another 3, 2, 1. Gently lower the feet down onto the mat. Extend the legs, take a little rest in Shavasana. Just move the legs from side to side. And then we're going to raise the right knee into the chest. Inhale to bring the nose to knee. Exhale, lower down. We're going to take 10. Inhale, nose to knee. Exhale, down. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Gently lower, hug the knee once more. Gently lower it down to the mat. Let's hug the left knee into the chest. And then inhale to draw the nose up. Exhale, lower. Inhale, 9. Exhale, lower. 8. Exhale, lower. 7. Exhale, lower. 6. Exhale, lower. 5. Exhale, lower. 4. Exhale, lower. 3. Exhale, lower. 2. Lower. 1. Exhale, lower. Send the feet down, raise the arms up overhead, take a deep stretch. As you exhale, hug both knees into the chest. Once more, drawing them right down into the chest as you begin to rock gently from side to side. Just feeling into what's going on. very gently in the lower back. And then gently dropping the soles of the feet down to the mat. We're keeping the knees drawn in. We're going to raise up into bridge, taking 6 breaths in bridge pose. So pin the shoulder blades down into the mat. Raise up the hips. Interlace the fingers underneath the body. Press the hands down. Inhale and exhale through right into the belly now. 6 breaths. Keep the knees drawn together. Don't let them drift apart. Squeeze the glutes. Four more breaths. Squeeze a little bit higher. Two more breaths. Last deep inhale. And exhale, gently unclasp the hands, roll out one vertebra at a time. Gently draw the knees into the chest. Rock from side to side. Send the soles of the feet up into happy baby. Grab hold of the sole, the inside or the outside. Taking 6 breaths here. Allowing the whole of the spine to flatten down into your mat. 3 more breaths. And then gently hug the knees into the chest. Send the knees up. Let's take a twist from side to side. Allowing the knees to drop over to one side, keeping the arms pinned, gazing over towards the opposite hand. If you need to prop up with a book or blanket or whatever you've got, just to raise the knees up slightly, then do so. Gaze over to opposite hand. 4 breaths here. And then gently raise up the knees. Begin to drop them over to the other side. Allowing the knees to drop down as you gaze over to opposite hand. Couple of deep breaths here. And then gently draw the knees back up. Bring them into the chest for one last time. Take a little bit of a rock and roll here along the spine before we come into Shavasana. So a very gentle practice today. Having moved and mobilized the joints of the body, allow the legs to drift down to the bottom of the mat. Palms to face upward. Letting go here. Completely relaxing into corpse pose or Shavasana. Letting go completely. Beginning with the toes and the soles of the feet. Moving into the ankles. Consciously letting go of all tension here. Moving up into the calves and knees. Softening. Letting go and relaxing. Moving up now into the thighs, the hamstrings, the glutes. Searching for any last bits of tension here as you let go and relax. Awareness to the fingertips, the palms, the wrists. Letting go. Bringing awareness through the forearms, the elbows and the upper arms. Allowing the bones to be heavy as you sink down into the mat. Softness into the shoulders, into the chest and into the neck. Allow the back of the head to melt down into the ground as you let go. Take a couple of sighs. Allow your body this time of sweet surrender, letting go and relaxing. You can gently bring your awareness now back to the breath. As you begin to wriggle the toes, bringing some movement back into the feet. Gently taking the tip of the thumb, drawing it across the tips of the fingers, allowing the head to roll over from one side to the other. Gently drawing the arms up overhead to take a last deep stretch. Before rolling gently over onto your side and coming back up into easy seat. Bringing the palms together once more to touch. Generate some warmth by gently rubbing the palms. Resting those hands into heart center. Taking a deep inhale through the nose. And as you exhale, bow nose to fingers. Acknowledging yourself for turning up to a practice that was gentle, for tapping into that space of the body. Raise the head and namaste. Thank you for joining me for this beautiful, gentle mobility practice.